Leave now while you still can.
This was a brutal workout. If you want a challenge for yourself where you're not getting too heavy but you're getting a lot of work in, this is the deadlift challenge for you. Just do this to challenge yourself, see where you're at. Rules are you start with 335 pounds. It's a little bit over 3 plates. If you want to start at 3 plates, that's around 151.95 kilograms. So however you want to do that in plates. You do as many reps as you can, up to 10 reps. Do not pass 10 reps. If you need to use straps, you can. And then every time you're done with the set, you add 20 pounds or around 10 kilograms. Here it is.
Down. 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 Down.
As you can see now in real time, this has gotten really, really difficult. This is only 435 pounds, although I will say I am really proud of Glenn for getting 415, and that is the most he has pulled since he's been back from an injury. But you can see here, I am just dead. My hamstrings don't want to do anything. My glutes aren't working. My grip is shot. I really shouldn't have tried to do the first couple of sets with no straps. The knurling just killed my hands. Putting a little bit more chalk on here. But this is only 435 pounds, so 197.3 kilograms. This is something that when I have not done a bunch of volume ahead of it, I can do for 7 or 8 reps pretty easily. And I am just destroyed. Just absolutely destroyed. Nothing wants to work. So this is allowing me to train in a fatigue state. And what I like about that is that's how I'm going to feel in a lot of strongman competitions. So Glenn went ahead and tried 435 again, couldn't do it. And look, I failed at 455. That is the first time that's happened in a long time. So off now to some awkward hip thrusts here with the barbell. And you notice I have Glenn sitting on the bench. It's because we are pushing that back. But these are something, as I mentioned, a couple weeks ago, actually almost a couple months ago now, that I really felt were helping me get the glutes to activate. And we did a couple of sets of these where we were just going up in the air. We were working with 225 pounds, so 2 plates. And then we went into some pause at the top, just trying to hold the contraction there. So you get a little bit of the speed activation and the power, as well as a little bit of staying power. But nobody really wants to watch these, right? And they are pretty difficult. You can see Glenn struggling a little bit there. And so what I did, put this up to 4 times speed. When you're doing these, really you have to watch for the hips and where you're at. Make sure that you're actually getting your thighs up high enough that you would be fully locked out in a deadlift. And that comes from Chris Duffin. If you're not familiar with him, he was at one time a record holder. He's a really strong guy. He's got a lot of great content out on his channel, and really he's got some great advice, and he goes into why you really don't want to necessarily train these too heavy, because you're not training the full range of motion, and it could actually end up costing you some power and some strength in the deadlift lockout, because now you've trained yourself really heavy to only go through a partial range of motion. So obviously we don't want that. Now tonight didn't really feel like doing overheads or any sort of standing movement. Instead, we decided we were going to do seated log press with no back support whatsoever. This is something we haven't done for a long time, and it is really challenging. So this is actually set up where you would be pressing from, but it does have the pins at the bottom so you can lean back and breathe for a second. But this is not a elevated log press like we did in the last workout. Very, very difficult. This is challenging. You are fighting the desire to fall backwards, so you've got to really balance. You are not getting any sort of help and stability from your legs, so they're kind of loose. Everything comes from your core here. If you don't keep your core tight and flex, you're going to flop around, you're going to bend, and it's just not going to go up, and it's not going to work for you. And because you're not getting any sort of help in this movement, you can see I'm already struggling, and this is only 135 pounds. This is not very heavy, but I am used to having my body underneath me, getting some stability in there. And when we were doing this last time, we were using back support. So if you really want to challenge yourself, I cannot recommend these enough. And this does also work with a barbell. I do recommend that you set up pins or something so that in case you do fall or lose your balance, you're not going to land backwards with the weight on top of your chest. It is not a comfortable feeling, and it could be really dangerous, especially if it slides up and hits you in the head or neck. You can see Glenn, he wanted to try 2 sets at 135. He wasn't too confident in his ability to go up. We are feeling pretty beat up. At this point, I'm on week 2 of my diet, and it's really starting to mess with me. It's really hard to recover. My shoulders were just not feeling up to this. And after that deadlift workout, there was no way I wanted to stand up or do anything. And it took a lot of energy out of me. It didn't look that hard because we didn't get that heavy, but it was pretty brutal. Glenn now decided to do 1 set a little bit down in weight. Now, I'm calling this 115 pounds. I am not absolutely positive on that weight at all because I am finally getting around to putting this video out a couple weeks later. And I set up the camera where you actually can't see the plates, but the 25 is off. So 25 would be 135, and I believe that's a 10 and a 5 on there. So it might be a little bit off. It might have been 105, but I want to say it was 115. And he's getting some good reps in here, really getting a lot of good work. And you can see he's really driving from the shoulder straight into the lockout. Even this last grinder there, he doesn't slow down too much. So that's good to see. Complete opposite from me. I am really having a lot of problems. I decided to try 175, and look at that. It just did not go up, and I put it away. Dropped down the weight to 135 pounds and just tried to get some more reps in there. Really disappointed with how this overhead workout went for me. And since the deadlift workout, I couldn't even pick up 455. I really wasn't happy per se in my performance, but I have to say that it was an amazing deadlift workout. And I'm excited to try this again in a month or 2. Obviously, this isn't something that you're going to want to do all the time. It is quite taxing and may need to deload after it, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely felt a lot of work. And as I mentioned before, these towel rows are awesome. And wanted to get some footage in here. You can see Glenn, what we did is we wanted to start a little bit heavier, see how many he could do, and just really tax the grip while also working the back. Really good way to hit 2 things. I will say that it is not necessarily the best way to train your back because you can't train as heavy. You do have to lower the weight down a little bit, unless your grip's just amazing, at which point you probably don't even need to do towel rows. But this is going to challenge your ability to hang on to something. It's going to hopefully transfer into everything strongman related, and it's just killing my forearms. So we did a couple of sets here, and I'm going to speed up 2 of these, and we finished up with some holds, and that was very difficult. I do have to say though, if you really are interested in doing some grip work, I recommend you guys all check out Richard. I know most of you who watch my channel are subscribed to him, but he knows what grip work is, and he does it the right way. So check out his channel if you haven't already. Really awesome guy, and he's doing a lot of work. Here's the holds, as I said, just trying to hold it as long as possible, and we both did not do very well. But it was the first time that we've tried doing the towel holds on this, and I want to say we've got around 175 pounds on there. I might be wrong. Again, this is quite a bit after we did the video, and this is one of the few movements that I actually feel my thumb working. So that's it for this training log. Go lift something heavy. Take it easy, everyone. Talk to you next time.
That's 20.